I tried taking my life in Washington State, I thought for sure I would die on it. The pain was too much from past experiences. I watched a ton of my friends die, and I just wanted life to end. I wanted the pain to stop. I went from essentially being homeless for 3 years and then meeting the Lord, and then pretty much within a 6-month span after I met the Lord was making 6 figures. I got to this point. I just said, God, this doesn't feel like this is what you had for me. I fly into the country of operation, and I see with my own eyes the severity of human trafficking. You walk down this single street, bars on every corner, and there's just, thousands of women, and the younger and younger and younger and younger that they start to get. And so I had to go into a back alley, and I just cried my eyes out. We remembered that our brothers and our sisters in Christ are in there, tortured, beaten, abused, killed. It was just us in a car and just giving God 5 minutes of obedience. And what that led to, that 5 minutes of trusting in God in the middle of chaos, that led to the rescue of 114 individuals.
Welcome to the Jesus Magnet podcast. I'm your host, Joel, and today we've got Doc on the show. And Doc is one of the field agents for Unit+E response team. They are an anti-trafficking organization here in Southeast Asia, and they are an organization that goes after the perpetrators of the trafficking industry. They do a lot of basically spy work. They do lots of surveillance, lots of intel, gathering evidence for with the police and with the CIS, or what is it?
The DSI,
yeah,
a bunch of government agencies, yeah.
And they are an absolutely incredible organization. As you guys might know, July, we are doing the month of anti-trafficking. So we're highlighting Unity. So if you haven't checked out the previous episodes with Lane and Madeline, I definitely recommend going back and checking those out. But it is great to have you on the show, Doc.
Thank
you for coming on.
Thank you.
We would love to start with a little bit before the trafficking side, and kind of how you got into the anti-trafficking world.
Yeah.
So what was life like back in the States?
Yeah, life for me, kind of before I even knew that this was an issue, was, pretty fresh with the Lord. I was kind of an infant in the faith, you could say, and kind of was getting into the business world, and really just started to kind of buy into this prosperity gospel, and just kind of started kind of going through the motions, especially as a new believer. I went from essentially being homeless for 3 years and then meeting the Lord, and then pretty much within a 6-month span after I met the Lord was making 6 figures.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I just slowly started to fall into this trap, and did that for 2 years, and became kind of, it's kind of like that, kind of like a disguise that you put on where, you go to church on Sunday and you do the thing, but then, once Monday hits, it really shows that the true king of your heart, for me, was money and success. No longer being that bum anymore, but now the world sees me as useful. And so, man, that kind of led me down this dark road where I got to this point. I just said, God, this doesn't feel like this is what you had for me. I learned during my time when I met you, I learned who I was, my identity in you. And right now I'm at this point and I don't feel like I actually am following you. When I read the scriptures, I match my life up to the scriptures, it doesn't match. And so in one vulnerable night, I just prayed this prayer. I said, God, this is a dangerous prayer to pray. God, convict me with all of your wrath. Because I was just...
You asked him to convict you.
Convict me with everything.
Wow.
Now, the Lord won't fully do it because we can't handle that. But you do ask for conviction, and God does give you conviction. Conviction that is the thing that guides and steers us to become more like him, right? And so I pray this prayer, and the Lord just started kind of revealing a lot of these things that I thought were true, but were so far from God. And there was...
What did you think was true that you thought was, I guess, bringing you closer to God? That was nothing.
Man, it was just a lot of okay, if I read my Bible once a week, I'm good. If I go to church once a week, I'm good. If I text my friends and make sure that they're in the Word and doing these things and staying out of trouble, then I'm a disciple. I'm discipling, right? But Christianity has it's there's way more to it than just these actions that you learn now that sometimes can just be rags, you know? And I just felt it through that conviction that I maybe knew who Christ was, but I was not an obeyer of Christ. I believed him. It's like the narrow road. I always had this like depiction in my mind where it's like this path and it splits off into a Y, and one of the signs says I believe in God, and the other one says I obey God. Yeah. And thousands of people are going down the I believe God path, and that was me. And there's just a few people that go down the road of I obey.
Do you know who you remind me of?
Who?
I don't know if you watch much of Jordan Peterson.
But I know who he is, but yeah.
So he says, people ask him all the time, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
And he never answers in a straight way. It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
And because he knows a lot about God.
Yeah.
He's studied the Bible better than basically any pastor I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's not. He's just a clinical psychologist. And he responds with these words, I act as if God's real.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
I obey God.
Yeah.
Because if you truly believe that God is real, that would change how you walked. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to ignore him. Yeah. So he's basically saying, if you're a Christian, I shouldn't have to tell you I'm a Christian. You should be able to see it.
Exactly.
That's what he's saying.
Exactly.
And the fact that and what he's on a deeper level, people that say they're a Christian, yet you can't just see they're a Christian, he says, I don't believe you. Yeah. Well, he said, I'm not going to just throw around I believe in God lightly. Yeah. He said, if you think that I believe in God, that's your answer. Yeah. And I like that. Yeah. That is literally when you look at a tree, how do you know it's an apple tree? By its fruit. I mean, some people might know by the leaves. Yeah. That's not me. I look at the apples. I look at the fruit. Yeah. If you're a Christian, you see the fruit. Yeah. The actual produce of what that tree's producing. And that's how we need to be as Christians. Yeah. And like, I think you're right. You know, many of us are like, I believe in God, but the tree's empty. Yeah. So it's not bearing anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the thing that has carried me in these last few years is just the statement of it's either true or it isn't. And if I'm not going to put my dial in between the it isn't true or it is true. I'm not going to put my dial in the middle and hope for the best. I'm going to choose one or the other. And if I say that this is true, then I'm going to run as hard as I can towards it.
Dude, have you heard the fence story?
I don't think so. The fence story.
Oh, you're going to love this.
Okay.
I apologize for the listeners because I share this story a few times, but this is part of my testimony.
Yeah.
I think you'll relate to it really well. So I was living in the world, partying and drinking, and I also went to church.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the music team. I knew how to act like a Christian. But on Saturday, I was in the city drinking and partying and not being a Christian at all. And my brother, Marcus, he picked me up for church on Sunday morning, hungover, to bring me to band practice in the morning. And he just decided to share this random story with me. And he said, Joel, let me share this story. There's a man and he's on a fence. And on one side of the fence, he looks over and there's beautiful blue skies, there's sunshine, there's a field that's full of flowers, and there's Jesus out there, and he's got all loved ones surrounded by him, and he's happy, and there's so much grace and so much love and joy. And then on the other side of the fence, it's dark and gloomy. There's clouds, and there's a house over there, and the house is a raging party inside the house. And there's women, and there's drugs, and there's all the pleasures of the world.
Yeah.
And this man sits on the fence, and the fence is really high. So he doesn't want to jump down from the fence because he might not be able to get back up.
Yeah.
So he sits on this fence and he goes, which side of the fence should I go on? And he thinks and he thinks. And then these women from the dark side of the fence start walking over to him. And they say, come onto our side of the fence. And the man says, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to get back over to this side. That looks just as good. And they go, oh, well, you can just stay up there.
Yeah.
Just stay on the fence. You're okay.
Yeah.
Make a decision. No pressure. We're here whenever you need us. You can just watch from a distance. And the man actually found a lot of comfort in that, where he could hear the worship music from Jesus' side and the tunes and the love and the warmth from the sun. But he could watch the woman and the lustful things on the dark side of the fence. Yeah. And then one day, he notices there's no music, no worship music, and the sun starts to set on the sunny side of the fence, and it gets dark. And he turns around and he looks, and he can't see Jesus. He can't see anyone. Yeah. It's dark. Everyone's gone.
Yeah.
And he yells, Jesus, where are you? And this man starts walking to him from the house, and he's got little horns, and he's Satan. Walks over to him and he goes, who are you looking for? He goes, I'm looking for Jesus. I'm going to jump on his side of the fence. I don't know where he's gone. And Satan laughs and he said, I've seen you. I've watched you sitting on that fence, and you were very happy there. And then he jumps up on the fence, and the guy goes, yeah, but I want to get off this fence. I want to go on to Jesus' side. And he goes, well, you didn't choose Jesus. And the man says, well, I didn't choose you either. I'm on the fence. I'm undecided. And Satan just slaps his hand on the fence, sitting next to him, and goes, this is my fence. And didn't realize that this being in this neutral zone is exactly where Satan wants you, where you believe you're safe. And that is where you're the most deceived. At least if you're on the dark side of the fence with the parties, you know where you are. But being in the middle, thinking you're safe, yet you're really condemned, is a very dangerous place. And a lot of Christians live there. So basically, my brother shared that story with me on the way to church. And I was living in the world, both sides, one foot on each side. And I just went straight to the pastor and said, I need prayer. Knees on the ground. Absolutely repenting, full repentance. I've never repentance like you see with David in the Bible. Absolute distraught. I've never been the same since. That was about 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah. And those types of lessons rock your world. I remember hearing this simple quote from Paul Washer, and he says he says it like a prayer. This has always been my prayer, to be my heart. And he says, "Dear God, if your kingdom advance and your name be glorified through me prospering, then so be it. But dear God, if your kingdom advance and your name be glorified through my bones being grounded into dust, then so be it." And I've prayed so long for that to become my heart. Right?
That's
You finally
awesome.
take that step off that fence.
That's when you mean it.
And you start running towards Christ.
Yeah.
Then you start to learn how to love and be loved. And that's what transpires into this, into our organization, right? It's like love is the catalyst for everything. You can have all the riches in the world. I could be making six figures. I could be driving a nice car. I could be living in my home country. But if I don't have love, I have nothing. So no matter what I say, no matter what I believe, and no matter what I do, I have nothing without love.
Yeah. Man, well, what was the moment that changed it all for you?
Yeah.
What was that moment that you went, I actually need to live this out. I need fruit to be produced. I need that conviction, that radical conviction that most people are numb to.
Yeah.
How did you bring that right to the front of your heart?
Yeah. A little bit of, just a tad bit of backstory. Before I knew Christ, I tried taking my life in Washington State. I was a rock climber and did a free solo of a mountain called Lexington Tower. And I thought for sure I would die on it. The pain was too much from past experiences. I watched a ton of my friends die, and I just wanted life to end. I wanted the pain to stop. And I remember writing my suicide letter as I'm about to embark on this climb that I thought would change my life, end it. In fact, it ended up being my Paul story, just complete 180 the other way. And I survived the climb, but I remember getting to the top of the mountain, surprised that I'm still alive, not wanting to be alive. Actually, like there was a lot of dread that I was still breathing, but I was too much of a coward to just put a bullet in my brain. And I get to the top of this mountain and I fall down onto my knees and I scream out, kind of like the fence story, "God, if you are real, show yourself to me." I'm crying. I'm a mess. And I'm expecting the gates of heaven to open up and God himself to reveal himself to me. And he doesn't. But the one thing that I learned was I looked around, and when you're on the top of this mountain, you look around and you see all these other mountaintops. My entire life in my early 20s was chasing summits, was chasing the next biggest thing. But in that moment, I realized that all that I was chasing in life was futile, because after this mountain, what about that one? What about that one? It's never ending. And all of a sudden, during this realization, I just felt this warmth not come in me, but graze upon me, as if someone was just there and just touching your shoulder. And for a man that is at his lowest point, at rock bottom, sometimes that is enough. And in that moment, I learned that, okay, there is a higher power to this equation. I believe that God exists. Now, I don't know who this God is, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to figure out who this is. And that led me to crazy places all around the world.
Were you at rock bottom when you were homeless, or were you at rock bottom when you were making six figures?
I was at rock bottom when I was homeless. I was dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt. Just watching a lot of my friends die. And
How do your friends all die?
a lot from climbing accidents and suicide.
Whoa.
And that breaks a man when you're all alone.
I come from a mountain town in New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Hillary. So Edmund Hillary
Yep.
is, first person to climb Mount Everest. It's the same family.
Wow.
Didn't pass down to my genes.
That's crazy.
But in our hometown, there's 3 ski fields all close by. Yeah. And we learned living there that the highest suicide culture outside of LGBTQ, that's actually the highest. Yeah. But the highest suicide culture outside of that is the snowboarding culture. Yeah. Because you've seen pictures of the mountain with the snow. Honestly, it's the most beautiful thing you can find in creation, I think. Yeah. So people go there and they go, if they see a photo and a poster of amazing scenery, mountains, snowboarding down, perfect day. If only my day was like that, I would feel whole. Yeah. That is the peak of creation. Mm-hmm. So people fly from all over the world to go snowboarding or skiing, and they get up to this mountain and they get to your point. I still feel empty. Yeah. If this is the highest point, I got nothing to live for. Yeah. So we learned to evangelize on the mountains, because most people, they're at the highest point physically, but they're at the lowest point spiritually. And that's when we need to evangelize. Yeah. Well, I mean, we always need to evangelize, but particularly it's a fake facade of where people are actually at. Yeah. They're believing that this is the coolest place in the world, and it is. Yeah. But most of the time, a lot of them are very spiritually dead. Yeah. And they're actually at rock bottom, ironically, being on top of the world.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And, taking from where I was at and in that moment of not understanding who God is, but that led me to, searching for him in every corner. It took me to places like Gilgit, Baltistan in northern Pakistan.
So how would you search? Why would you go to places like that?
From my understanding at the time, I just thought that I needed to go kind of on this, because I didn't know it was Christ. So I looked for it in every facet, whether it was New Age spiritual movements or whether it was Buddhism, Hinduism. I looked for it in every corner, and I never found anything from it. But the one place that I finally felt called to go was this rehabilitation center in the backwoods of Tennessee. It's a program called Narrowgate. What it is, it's a place for men in their 20s to go, and they're completely removed from society. Their phones are taken away from them, and they sit in the quiet for 8 months, and they ask 2 questions. Who am I, and why am I here? That's the 2 fundamental questions every man asks in his life. And so I sat in the woods, completely excommunicated from everyone, and asked those 2 questions. And that is what I needed. No distractions. No nothing. Because that allowed me to hear that small, silent, quiet voice that sometimes God uses to communicate with us, where there's no distractions in my mind. And that is where I learned who Christ is and what he says about me. I learned my identity in Christ, and that was the catalyst that sent me forward.
Wow. Yeah, I do think our distractions that we live with every day on our phones, on our computers, just all of it, TV shows. Literally, the world is fighting for our attention every day and winning most of the time.
Yeah.
That's actually why we do the Jesus Magnet, because people are going to their phones anyway. We may as well put Jesus there.
Amen.
So I'm hoping somebody's been doom scrolling and they find this,
Yeah.
this is what they needed. And at least we can put Jesus where their soul is going to die.
Yeah.
May as well put Jesus, who's got resurrecting power, there.
Amen. Yeah.
Man, so all right, so you went into this. Would you say 8-month?
Yeah, 8-month long program called Narrowgate.
Narrowgate,
And it's a Christian foundation that's just allows, 20-year-olds to just not have to worry about bills, not have to worry about food, accommodation, and just get to escape the noise of the world.
So what brought you from that point to deciding to go into something like anti-trafficking?
Yeah, man.
That's it's one thing to know who you are and you got that answered, the identity, but what you have to do, how did you get to that point?
Yeah. It wasn't this crazy story by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, after Narrowgate moved into the business world, and just knew that there was something more, that if I'm going to give my life fully to Christ, there has to be more than what I'm doing right now. And so I start praying, and I think a couple weeks later, my best friend introduces me to this organization. And he just says, dude, I think that this, based off of your past, I feel like this organization would be something you should look into, maybe go on a single trip at some point, just kind of dip my toes in there. And that's how I got connected with Lane. And I went on a single mission with them with no intention of going on another. But then I fly into the country of operation, and I see with my own eyes the severity of human trafficking. And that's something you'll never unsee. It's 10 times worse than what I've ever could have imagined. And the Lord, in that moment, told me to pretty much sell everything I have, give up the success of the world, and go do this full time. Go move in a house with a bunch of dudes that you don't really know. And this is the trajectory that I have you on now. And so it was just a moment of obedience, where to me a lot of this is unknown, but okay, God, I'm all in. Even this is not what I want to do, but I'm all in. I give it to you. And so I quit my job. I was the vice president of a really large company, and quit my job. Everyone thought I was crazy.
I still think you're a little crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's incredible, man.
Yeah.
And you're right. Once you see it, I think it's really healthy for everyone to get out of the West, go to a real mission trip.
Yeah.
Not one of the nonsense ones where you paint the pastor's house in Mexico and the women go and get their nails done. Yeah. No. A real mission trip, one that actually has impact. Yeah. And you'll never be able to, you shouldn't be able to be comfortable in comfort back in the West again, because in a good way of the Lord will open your eyes, because it's almost like we live our whole lives with blindfolds on, and that's what the devil wants. He's wanting you to just succeed in the world, do what you want to do, live your best life. As long as you don't screw with my kingdom.
Yeah.
That's what the devil's saying.
Yeah. And that is it, man. First time I walked through a red light district, and you walk down this single street, bars on every corner, and there's just, I mean, thousands of women just all on this street. And you walk past them and you look into the bar, and the younger and younger and younger and younger that they start to get. And I remember just being in that moment and just being like, God, break my heart. And I had to go into a back alley, and I just cried my eyes out, because the Lord just took my heart of stone in that moment and just broke it and made it a God-willed, a heart of flesh. And that is what you need to be able to do this, because it's the same thing that the Lord did for me, right? I mean, it's like in Israel, they sing this song. It's called Dayenu. And they sing this song that's like, Die, Dayenu, Die, Dayenu, 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 Dayenu. So they're singing the stories about everything in the Old Testament that the Lord did for them. God, if you only delivered us out of Egypt, then it's enough. God, if you only split the sea so that we could flee our enemy, then it's enough. And for me, God, if you only just saw me, plucked me from the pit that I put myself in, saw me and gave me a name, then it's enough. I don't need anything else. Well, in that moment, that's the exact same thing that I want for this little girl that's being sold 10 times a day, is to be able to look her in the eye and say, you do have a purpose. You do have an identity. You are made in the image of our Father, Christ.
It's so true. It's sickening to see, especially the younger they get, as you look down. It breaks your heart. I always found it breaks my heart walking down and seeing all these girls and thinking, like, do they even know where their parents are? Yeah. Like that, like you don't know what the backstory is. Is this a choice? Is this something that they've been coerced into, groomed for? And it's sick. Yeah. We don't really have that too much in New Zealand. I'm not sure about America, but yeah, it's so sad. And it's, maybe it is in New Zealand and America, but it's a bit more camouflaged. Yeah. Here it's corruption out in the open. Yeah. Do you have without sharing too much detail that might compromise identities or anything like that, can you tell us about an operation rescue that has stayed with you and that has changed you?
Yeah. We were sent to this country undercover, tasked with getting information on a scam compound to relay the ability for another organization to be able to perform a raid on a very large scam facility. And for people that don't know what a scam facility is imagine a city encased in concrete walls and barbed wire fences and armed guards at all the entrances. And they put fake jobs out into the world and say, hey, come work for our casino and you'll be able to have good accommodation and have really good pay. Well, people from all these countries, Pakistan, India, China, Laos, Burma, they're jumping at the bits for a good job to be able to have a decent living, maybe send money back home. And so they fly into Bangkok, and instantly they'll meet up with their boss, quote unquote, and they get in a car, their passport's taken from them. We always like to say kind of the bag is put over the head in that moment. And they are forced and taken to another country, and they are put inside of these scam compounds that they're forced to work for roughly about 18 hours a day, just scamming individuals from the West. And if they don't make enough money, they're beaten and tortured, a lot of times with by the forms of electrocution and terrible living accommodations. I've been in a lot of these. I've seen where they'll make each other fight each other in rings just for entertainment purposes.
Seen that?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
like a cockfight.
kind of like
with humans.
Yeah, cockfight. Yeah, the people weren't in there, but I was able to slip back into one of those areas. And I remember going back there, and there was like a ring, and then the concrete on the inside had blood in it.
So they're fighting against their will?
Who knows?
Hard to tell.
Hard to tell. There's just so many. There's so many torture devices that they use to humiliate, to coax these people into scamming more. A lot of the times it's a fear-based like authority, right? And so this is going on. This is probably one of the biggest problems of our generation that most people don't know about. I mean, these scam facilities are all throughout Asia. I mean, there's hundreds of these massive facilities, and we were tasked in this particular mission to go investigate one, to do an undercover operation. And it was 6 of us inside this vehicle. And we had a 360 camera mounted on the top of the car. And we drive into this city, and it's a mafia-run city. I mean, everything is some type of moving part for the mafia's operation inside these scam compounds. And we drive straight up to the front gates just to assess security. And that's when we saw it. Armed guards standing at attention, guarding the front gates. And quickly we reversed out and tried to find kind of a back entrance. And the number one piece of detail that we really need to get for this agency is just getting all the entries and exits, getting video footage of the fact that there is a scam operation going on here. And so as we drive to the back of this compound, there's this large open field with nobody around. But then we see guys standing on the top of the walls just as security, just looking over the land. And we have to make this decision whether we're going to take this car and drive through this field and be spotted by the mafia. And in that moment, we remembered that our brothers and our sisters in Christ are in there. Tortured, beaten, abused, killed. So we drove straight to the field. And we start seeing those security guards. They're getting on their phones. They're making calls. Some of them are leaving and frantically running back. We are now sitting ducks in this field. And I am expecting at any moment for other vehicles to just surround us and we're done. But we keep driving straight up to this back gate, and we just start driving kind of like the walls of Jericho. You walk around the walls of Jericho and it falls. This is essentially what we were tasked to do, just drive around the perimeter of this entire scam compound, get footage, get intel. Where are the guards at? And
can they see the camera on the top of the car?
So we did disguise it, but there's no reason. We don't even have tinted windows. Like we couldn't even get a car with tinted windows. So white guys in a mafia city in a random country that's ran by the mafia.
Wow.
Like we are as much of a sitting duck as a duck could be, at this point. And we just continue driving. Emotions are super high in the car. I mean, it is a terrifying moment. Just thinking that any second something's going to happen. But we continue on. We keep filming. We just need 500 more feet to film. And then finally we hit the end and we flip around and we book it out of there. No one's following us, which is a miracle in itself. But what I learned in that was sometimes it's not like this might not be the most intense operation that we've done, but for me, it was one that I'll never forget because it was a big lesson for me. Not every act of obedience has to be this massive thing. For us in that moment, it was just us in a car and just giving God 5 minutes, 5 minutes of obedience. And what that led to, that 5 minutes of trusting in God in the middle of chaos, that led to the rescue of 114 individuals.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the scam complex.
In the scam compound.
Wow.
So it was a little thing.
How long have these guys been in there? Some of them.
Some of them, since the compound's been there, probably a couple years. These scam compounds really started popping up in 2020 during COVID.
True.
As a way to make money. And some of these people that I've talked to have been there pretty much the entire time. But horrific things are coming from there. And so sometimes it's just trusting in God in the small things and watch him do something big. Yeah.
Have you had one of those moments when you're doing these operations, maybe a different one, where your thought, I actually can't do this. This is too hard. This is too dangerous. Has there been a moment where it's fear has just completely covered you?
Yeah. We another scam operation in a country in Asia, and I won't go into the full details, but this was a mission where we needed to infiltrate inside of the scam facility. And this particular one is one of the biggest scam facilities that is operational. Way more guns, way more guys. And we flew a drone over the scam compound and we buzzed it really low so that the guards would look up. And in that moment when the guards were looking up, we slipped a guy on a motorcycle, straight through the front gates.
Whoa.
And he had...
Like sleight of hand.
Yeah. We had 360 camera on the motorcycle, as well as a couple other cameras. And we're just getting the inside evidence, which was what law enforcement needed to take action, was footage from inside. And where our entire team is on top of this mountain where the scam facility is. In the second that you fly a drone over a compound and the guards see it, you just ring the dinner bell.
Yeah, they're all running out, guns up, ready to shoot it.
So we rang the dinner bell, and now we needed to make an exit. Well, there's only one road, a single road to get to safety. And there's 3 checkpoints on the way.
So one of you guys have driven in on this motorbike?
Yeah.
And they have to drive out the same way?
And to drive
but now
out the
all the
same
guards
way.
are out?
Yeah, so we're sitting just outside. The whole area is completely, it's just a bunch of scam compounds combined together. But there's one that was in particular that we needed to get the intel on. So that's the one that we slipped through. And the rest of the team, like me, I was in a large SUV. I went up first, and I was going to be the first one in, first one out. Kind of preparing the way for the guy on the motorcycle to slide in and slide out type of thing. And so we needed to make a retreat, and everyone was terrified. Like, what are we going to meet when we are flying down these roads and we hit these checkpoints? What is going to be there for us? And the Lord ran interference for us. He rolled in the thickest fog I have ever seen in my entire life. To the point where when we start flying past these checkpoints, the guards couldn't even see us coming.
Whoa.
And it wasn't until the very last checkpoint where the guards saw us, but it was enough time for the guards to know that we're passing, but it wasn't enough time for them to react. And we escaped safely with all the evidence that we needed.
Man, that's nuts.
So you're overcome by fear, but watch the Lord work.
Yeah. Trust him.
Love conquers fear. That's my brother and sister in there.
Yeah.
So again, there's nothing I wouldn't do.
What's the atmosphere like between you and all the other field agents when stuff like this is happening? Because I'm assuming you're all in communications, all talking to each other.
Yeah.
Through radios or earpieces or something.
Yeah.
Is there, like, can you hear kind of the wavering of worry in each other's voice? Or are you guys like encouraging each other?
There's always fear in our voice.
Yeah.
There's always fear in our voice. But remaining calm is the most important thing, because if one person starts freaking out, then that could freak out the rest of the team, right? So the importance is being calm. And we have, me and Lane have worked with a lot of different agents over the years. And just really looking for those particular abilities and aspects in people,
being able to stay level-headed,
but like, hey, it's okay to be afraid.
Yeah.
We're all afraid, but being able to remain calm in the midst of chaos. Yeah.
Man, well, one of my next questions is, have you seen like Jesus show up in a moment? And that was kind of the story for that.
Yeah.
Man, this is, it kind of is beyond a little bit of comprehension to imagine if you've never been there or never done something like this. I haven't. Yeah. And it really does sound like a bit of a spy movie, like a Mission Impossible sort of situation.
I would say more Mr. Bean than Mission Impossible. But yeah.
That's what Lane said too.
Yeah. That's our running joke. Yeah.
He had a great story when he thought somebody was about to see through his identity, be like, something's up with you,
Yeah.
Maybe I'm noticing a hidden camera on you or something like that. And he wasn't sure what to do. Yeah. And he just sticks his finger right straight up his nose.
It's great.
I'm going to remember that.
It always works.
Yeah. When I'm on the field with you guys, you're just going to see me with my fingers up my nose.
You just have to put in their mind like that there's no way that guy is undercover.
That's it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What do you think what's the angle to talk to some of these trafficked people that are, who's your boss? Like, how do you get that sort of information out of these trafficked victims? And also, like, because some of them are victims, right?
Yeah.
But they're also perpetrators because they themselves are trying to maybe, get out of debt or whatever it is, and they end up recruiting more girls. Yeah. How do you... That's a tricky one to make judgment calls on.
It's definitely a tricky one because, every situation is different. Every person is different. It's kind of one of those rules of tradecraft of like, you have, like, the first time you meet somebody, you have 5 to 13 seconds talking to them before they make a judgment call on you, whether they like you or they don't like you. And so you kind of have like a really short amount of time to get someone to trust you and to open up with you.
Do you have to talk to them more than just once? Like, I don't know, let's say there's a red light district and you're trying to figure out who's trafficking these women here. So you got to build that relationship over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or is it?
It depends on what country you're in. There's countries that are, it's all business. It's like lock-in brothels, where you go into this place, like me and Lane have been in a place where you walk in kind of like a room like this. And the second you walk in, 6 big dudes might come in and join you. And then they lock the door, like big, like jail gate looking door, and they lock you in. And but then there's other places.
And what's the purpose of that? So you are forced to pay.
It's probably just a way to keep authorities out, and also kind of a security aspect for them.
Yeah.
For if authorities get on the inside. But it's probably also a way to keep these traffic victims from escaping. There's probably so many different reasons why to it. And again, every situation is different. It's even in the same countries, but in a lot of other countries, it's more of a party scene. It is the bright neon lights, the loud music. Going to a bar, you buy a girl a drink and you sit down, and maybe the mama-san, which is what they call the pimp, they'll line up a bunch of girls in front of you, and then you pick which one you want, and then that girl will come sit down with you. And this is in the situation as if we're posing as the buyer, which tends to be the best way to do it. Then you sit with that girl, you build a relationship with her, and you then get information. To eventually would be to get proof of purchase of that girl. A lot of the times they call it like short time rooms. You would buy a girl for an hour and you take her to a short time room. But those are the key moments of being able to get evidence and information on the larger network.
And are the girls usually quite like reciprocal to giving information, or is it quite an art to what to say, how to say it? Like, how do you say it? Yeah. How do you be like, so who's your boss without saying who's your boss? How do you pull that information out of them discreetly?
Yeah, I want to be careful with what I say, but again, it's a different situation for everyone. The older
every time it's
different. It really is just like every single moment you have to be creative. But it tends to be that the girls that are like 18 up are more reciprocal to you. The girls that are under the age of 18, minors, a lot of times even virgin sales, they tend to be rightfully so, the more shy, more closed off, and just that heartbreaking like look in their face, like, I don't want this, but my father has a debt to the bar, type of thing, and so I have to be here. And that is a heartbreaking thing.
How frequent are your missions or field trips or whatever you want to call them? What do you call them?
Yeah, I call them like,
vacations.
Yeah, no, definitely not. It's kind of different. Like me and Lane originally were flying from our home country to areas of operation every other month. So we were doing 2 around the world flights every other month. And then so we would call that mission blocks. Now,
you're based out here.
Now we're based, out here, and that allows us to have a more of a firefighter response. So we get a call of a girl being sold tonight. Hey, the motto is we leave tonight then. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And is it, so if we look at like a 30-day period, like a month, you're talking at least 2 trips?
I think we did.
Because sometimes it can be...
Last month alone, I think we did like 9 operations in a single month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
It was one after another, after another, after another. It was constantly in airports, constantly getting to airports and then getting a call to not get on this plane and go here. And
Oh, wow.
And so there'd be plenty of times where we were 5 minutes from boarding and then we get a call and we don't.
So who's calling you? Is it the police? Is it government? Is it?
Yeah, it's NGOs, government agencies. I'll probably kind of leave their names out of it, but
they're anti-trafficking
correct
people.
Yeah,
but they're just not Unity.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yes, because what we specialize is the boots on ground work, the undercover operations. Yeah. There are tons of organizations that do the amazing work, and sometimes even the hardest work is like aftercare. There's a lot of organizations that do the aftercare. But the biggest gap that we have found on the chain of they get the intel of a case to the rescue and rehabilitation of the survivor, the biggest gap is the undercover work.
There's not a lot of people doing what you're doing.
No, not at all. Yeah. And you would think it would be one of the more popular, things, but
it's definitely that's like signing up to be frontline in a war.
Yeah.
That soldier.
Yeah.
The first one to run out into the fire.
Yep.
Nah, I wouldn't sign up for that. Unless you're like, you got to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I think where you've come in, which I think's, man, hats off to you. It is showing that where rubber meets the road as a Christian.
Yeah.
I profess this faith. I say that I love people, that I'll lay my life down for the ones that I love. Yeah. And that I recognize the value in every human, that they are a child of God. Yeah. And I love them as much as I would love my little sister or my daughter. Yeah. And I'm going to get them out of that fire. Yeah. Like I think that's amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, man. I don't care where it takes me. I don't.
Yeah.
Whether I got 2 weeks to live or another 50 years, this is my mission and this is the hill I choose to die on.
So you're going to be doing this for a while at this stage, unless the Lord tells you otherwise.
Unless the Lord tells me to otherwise.
Yeah.
It's something that you can't unsee.
So how long have you been doing it now?
I've been doing it for over 2 years, I think. Yeah, wow. 2 years now.
2 years. Have you counted how many operations?
I do not.
You do not keep count of that?
That'd be like really difficult.
How many people that you've helped?
Yeah, I haven't.
That would be a very interesting stat. I'll be curious on that.
Yeah, it's just I never wanted to get into this number counting aspect, as there are a lot of people that do that, and then so they almost kind of see it like
becomes a little trophy,
like a trophy. So then you start going for low hanging fruit, like the really easy. Yeah. Maybe that girl, like you could technically say she's being trafficked, but we can if it'd be easy to get her out, even though she'll go back, but at least we can put it on our website. Yeah, type of thing. Where our organization is built to deal with the hardest things.
Wow.
To go for the darkest cases. And that's a lot of where my job comes in is looking for the darkest things, whether I'm scraping through the dark web.
Can I ask you what's your routine, or if you have something that you do that keeps you in check,
Yeah.
so that you don't get overwhelmed by fear. Some people, for example, business people,
Yeah.
you would probably remember doing this back in the States, maybe when you made six figures, looking in the mirror going, you can do this.
Yeah.
You are not a loser. You are, what is it, affirmations or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Is there something that you guys do as a team or solo that almost builds that courage and confidence and stepping out of the boat and walking on water to trust in Jesus? Because even Peter knew Jesus face to face,
Yeah.
yet sank when stepping out of the boat. I mean, he did walk for a bit, definitely got to give him credit, but did end up sinking. How do you make sure you don't, you know what I mean? Like,
How do you find the courage?
yeah, how do you find the courage? I mean, after one operation to the next, and it gets...
I'll answer it,
Yeah, please.
but it's not what I think people are going to think.
Okay.
We're nothing special. I am nothing special. It is just the love. Love conquers all fear. When you truly love, I mean, I can think of these girls and I can start crying.
Wow.
And it is that love that I will get out of that boat any day, at any time, at any moment. No matter, I will run towards the fire. I will run towards the bullets because it's the love inside of me. It's the love that God has put in my heart for my brother and my sister that I don't even know yet.
Wow.
That's what gets me out of the boat. It's not the fact that I'm different, that I'm fearless. No, I am a scared little boy most of these times, man. But it's when Peter got out of that boat, I don't believe it. I don't believe it was courage that drew him out of the boat. It's just he saw what he loved, Christ. And that is what compelled him to get out of that boat. And that's what compels me to go and to wake up every single day and put my life on the line for these girls, for these boys.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's powerful. And very inspiring. Ooh.
I wish everybody could see. I wish everybody could see the things that we see. That's my dream.
Man.
Yeah.
So, Unity now, where are you guys going? What's the plan in the sense of Unity as an org? You guys are expanding.
Yep.
You guys you're based in Southeast Asia. Are you allowed to say where?
No.
No. Like the headquarters or anything like that?
Yeah. We'll keep
You
that.
still keep that?
We'll keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
But,
No worries. But people can apply to be members, to come in and do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Man, yeah, the whole goal of our organization is to bring Christians to the front lines of the world's most tragic issues. And I know there's a ton of people that are going to listen to this and say, I don't have the technical skills to be able to do this. Well, same here. In the Cold War, the CIA were using ex-military spies to go and do a lot of these operations in the most surveillance-heavy country in the world. And it wasn't working. All these spies were getting killed. And so they needed to think outside the box. They started hiring magicians. They started hiring sales guys to go out and do this work. And it completely changed what we know as spycraft to this day. Sometimes our job is solely on creativity and just the willingness and the love in our heart. That is what we look for. Everything else, I mean, you might have some type of skill that is a puzzle that's missing in our organization.
Yeah.
Go for it, you know?
Yeah.
It's,
That's how God makes us, is we're not all the same.
yeah.
But I like how you put it. We're all a puzzle.
Yeah.
We're all a little piece
Yeah.
that's different but very much needed. And yeah, you could be a podcaster joining you guys. You know, you could be somebody that is very good with computers, or you could be a magician.
Yeah.
And you said earlier, believe it or not, that's a very, very clever way to be something else and to get information.
And to sleight of hand. And it's just like, what did that thing teach you? And how can you use it in the field? Yeah.
You, just a fun question.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to.
Okay.
But I'm going to throw it in there.
Yeah.
And if you can just say pass. But you mentioned to me that you were blacklisted at some point.
Yeah.
And interrogated for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit about what that's like? You don't have to say where or whatever was happening, but that's a moment of absolute oh crap, you know. That's kind of like what everyone thinks. That's the bad day. That's a bad day. Yeah. In your organization, that's a bad day.
Yeah, it's not a fun.
But what was that like? And what's it like being blacklisted from an entire country?
Yeah. Let me.
You don't have to answer. You can just say pass if you want.
Yeah.
And I can take that whole question out if you don't want it in there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think how I can say it without saying the country.
Can you talk about the feeling of just being interrogated? Like, walk me through what that's like.
Yeah, I mean, being interrogated, it's not exactly what you think. It's not like
Like
for us,
the lamp in your face.
It wasn't that, you know, and we were being interrogated by one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world. And it was a lot of just me and Lane being pitted against each other by the interrogator.
Like, oh, he's giving up.
Exactly.
He's what is it? Making a deal.
Yeah.
To throw you under the bus.
Yeah. Pretty much kind of similar to those types of things. Trying to say, things like, hey, he gave up this piece of information. Is this true? Type of thing. Or he said this about you. And then it was just a way for them to be able to compile like the story of.
And do you and Lane or whoever you're working with have a bit of a plan in the event that this happens? What do you both say?
Yeah, I mean, try to be, as close to the truth as possible. Yeah. Without giving like the actual finite details of why we're there. But during that time, it's just this country's at war, and they just don't want anybody in that is not 100% pro them. And so they just made the final decision based off of,
Is Lane blacklisted too?
Yeah. We both have. We're gonna get them framed. We both have letters that say we're a threat to the state.
You're gonna get them framed.
Yeah. It's hilarious. But it wasn't the end of the world for us. Just because we knew that God sent us there, and I don't really necessarily agree with the statement of like, hey, if the door closes, I feel like a lot of people say that like, well, if God opens the door, I'll walk through it. And if it closes, a lot of times man closes the door, and so for us, that was a closed door, but we still tried other ways, to gain entry into the area that we needed to operate in. And that led us to kind of the actual mission that the Lord called us to do, which was way more fruitful than what we thought we were actually there for. And
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. I just wanted to ask that question. You didn't have to answer. That was a great answer. And I won't pick into it too much.
Yeah.
Man, I think, how long are we going? Now 8 minutes. We'll wrap up.
Okay.
Is there anything that you wanted to leave with our audience? A piece of advice, an encouragement to Christians that are listening to this, and even non-Christians, in this topic, that very, very deep topic that we could talk for hours and hours on. But yeah, just a bit of encouragement.
Yeah. I would. I went through a really hard season, about a year ago, and it's always a good time to reevaluate your life, to kind of take a step back, hold it up to Scripture, and say, Lord, what do I need to do? What are the things that you want to tell me that maybe I've bought into? Maybe I've bought into this Western Christianity. I'll just say, man, first of all, have some grace on yourself, but like, what a blessing it is that we get to go to our God and ask him those questions. Lord, what do you want? What do you want me to grow in right now? And I would say, like, if listening to these podcasts with, my fellow teammates and I, if there's any conviction, or if there's anything that just kind of is that little tiny voice in your ear that's saying something, pray about it. But at the same time, don't let hearing God's voice, like only doing something, if you hear God's voice clearly. So many times I hear people say, I'll only do it if God writes it on the wall for me. God also allows us to make the next logical step. Yeah. And for me, joining this organization, it was just me taking the next logical step, me evaluating my life with Scripture and saying, does this add up? Okay, it doesn't. This path does add up, though. So that's
good.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I would also like to ask if there's something that our audience can do. Is there prayer that you're wanting right now? I know you guys are going to the States soon to do a bit of fundraising. You guys are, you're going around to different churches and things like that, but you're really encouraging listeners and people that are listening and watching you guys to not only pray, but also go, and not only go, but also give and partner with you guys. Is there something that our audience can do to help you?
Yeah, it's the three things, pray, give, go. Prayer is always needed. We need prayer warriors. I don't believe that we could have done the things that the Lord has allowed us to do if it wasn't for our prayer warriors, right? Give is actually probably one of a really big need for us right now. Our organization doesn't say no. We don't say no to operations. If we have a couple $100 in the bank and it's going to take a couple $100 to do this operation, we're going bankrupt. We're clearing out our bank accounts to go do it. And that is kind of where we're at right now. That's why we're going back to the States, to fundraise to continue doing this work. Which you can give on our website, uniteresponse.org. And then the last one is go. And I've always kind of had this picture of, there's a line of men holding a rope, and this rope goes down into the well. And sometimes God calls you to hold the rope so that another man can go down into the well. But sometimes God's going to pull you out of that line and say, now it's your turn to go down. They're both equally important.
It's that's actually a guy in the 1800s who was a missionary in India, and he was writing back to his supporters.
Okay.
And he says in this letter, he says, "I will descend into the pit as long as you hold the rope tightly. I'll be prepared to go where nobody else will, but I need you to hold the rope." So, yeah, man, I think we can definitely get behind you. And as Christians, we ought to. If we're not here, we ought to be empowering the ones that are. If we're not going, we ought to be cheering on and sending and equipping the ones that are going. Because you guys are not paid, you're totally volunteer. So everyone raises their own support. So I'm going to say this for all the listeners, to partner with Doc. If you're feeling that call, partner. He's front lines. This is where the rubber meets the road. If you are based in the West, where you've got an incredible job and you're very blessed in a position that you're in, partner with these missionaries that are prepared to go.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think you're an incredible dude.
Man, likewise.
You are just... I take my hat off to you. You're so young too. You're only 28.
Yeah.
And yeah, the amount of people that have been impacted, like, I'm so thankful that life was never taken from you when you were rock climbing.
Yeah. Yeah. Praise be to God.
Honestly, it's amazing. Amazing to see how God's been using you since this moment of rock bottom. Yeah. In the letters, the Screw Tape letters with C.S. Lewis.
Yep.
You love those? Read that?
I love those, yeah.
One part of it really sticks out to me, and it's when this demon's talking to another demon, giving him advice and saying to Wormtail or whatever his name is. And he says, whatever you do with your patient, which is us, Christians, whatever you do with your patient, don't let them hit rock bottom. Allow them to be miserable, but not all the way down. Because when they go rock bottom, they will fall on their knees and they'll cry out to the Most High.
That's exactly what happened.
It's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Your biggest blessing was the moment you hit rock bottom, man.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. So that was a moment I knew I needed a Savior.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming on the Jesus Magnet. Honestly, it's been great to have you on the show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jesus Magnet, and all of the information is going to be in the description below to partner with Doc, with Unity. Go to the website. And yeah, I champion you all. Step out in faith. Partner with these guys. They're the real deal. And they're right on the edge of the mission field, saving the most vulnerable and the most lost in the world. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jesus Magnet.